my name is David Worrell. Welcome to the Swing Trader Strategies Stock Market Watch List. It is a beautiful Sunday, January 5th, 2025. Thank you for joining me. If you are going to watch this all the way through, we have a ton to go over. We have Adrian, the gentleman that we interviewed. He put together a beautiful watch list for us, and it is very, very organized. So we're going to go over his watch list as well as the one that I brought you. We went and gave you the watch list to go, the stock screener to go over. We're going to go over all that stock screener. I went over all 400 stocks for you, and we picked out the best of the best. What is showing the best trend and base breakout strategies. Also, we're going to go through Finviz as well. I'm going to show you guys. Well, let me turn me off really quick. We don't want to hear double me. Double me, double trouble, baby. What we're going to do is I'm going to go over Finviz. We're going to go over the fundamentals of some of the stocks. We can look at the leading stocks, something that is very near and dear to my heart because I make it easy for you. Fundamentals can be very confusing. We're going to go over Finviz. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Of course, we're going to go over the sectors. We have a lot to go over, especially I just got back from Chicago with the family, guys, and seeing all the chop in the overall market. Me being able to do this in front of you, I feel like it's more for me than it is you, but we're going to go over all of it. We also have the ETF watch list. We're going to start with that to see where the overall market sits. And then, of course, we're going to go over my watch list, and then we'll go over the new and improved YouTube. We actually added a mentorship program, so if you're interested in that, you're more than welcome to do that. So, with that being said, we only have a couple more minutes, and we're going to get started. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We already have 10 of you watching right now. B. Stewie and Yosef's first to comment in the chat. We are, well, I did have the chat so you could see it on your screen, but clearly I still have some work to do on that, but that's A-okay. Make sure you vote on the poll. The question is, do you think the overall market, the S&P 500, is going to stay above that 580, below that 580, or trade sideways for the next week? And if you're just here for the watch list, you can vote on that too. Make sure you do that while you're waiting. And why don't we just get started, baby? Well, I am pumped to be here. If you can't hear it in my voice, I'm telling you, the market has been so choppy. I have just been really, really happy when Friday finally came to an end. I was really, really honestly happy, and usually you don't hear that coming out of my mouth. I absolutely loved that we hit Friday. I could sit back, relax, kind of understand what is going on in this market because of the chop, because of the inauguration coming out on the 20th. There is some volatility out there, and we had a drastic sell-off right here, but we held this 580, which I told you was extremely important area. We also bounced off that, creating about a double, close to a double bottom here, and then bouncing higher. So can we hold? We're just under that 50-day moving average. We have so much to go over. What's up, B. Stewie, Yosef, Erica, Jimmy Bright in the building, Robert Tainch, it's good to see you, brother, and Dan Bob. Bob Dan, the greatest moderator alive, is blessing us with his presence. Big shout out to you, brother, and you guys always encouraging me to better the YouTube. And each and every day, we're going to do a little something to make sure things get better. Yes, Dan Bob says, Robert, we have been missing you. Yes, we absolutely have. We reached out to you in the Discord. It's good to see you in here, and Zamora is here too. Why don't we just jump right into this, guys? We need to go over the overall market. It's very pinnacle to trading. Why? Market direction. If you guys know me, I love the CAN SLIM acronym, How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill. Make sure you get yourself a copy of this. This is what we consider our Bible. It's got over 100 stock charts on the weekly that you can go through. You can analyze yourself to help you learn how to find those momentum leaders in the overall market. Dan Bob has also put out the link tree. Click on that link tree. You're more than welcome to go through that. We have everything on there that you could ever ask for, especially our Facebook page that is growing so fast. The swing traders, the stock market swing traders, you need to join that Facebook. It's just packed full of information. Right now, this is what right here, what you see in front of you guys, This is what I have created, that I just made it as easy as I possibly could for anybody, even if you don't understand technical analysis. You can see right here, we have these three main lines. This right here, this 580 area, this is our main focus. I've said if we break below this area, we could head much lower, much faster. We don't have support until we get somewhere around this 460 area. So it's very important to me in the S&P 500 that we hold this area. The S&P 500 holds 500 of your greatest stocks, okay? And it's managed by a hedge fund, and they pull and they add the stocks that they think is going to do the best. It has done very, very well, between 6 and 11% over the course of the last 100 years. So we use this as our judgment zone. Yes, we're judging, judging the market to see the overall strength. And right now we're below a 50-day moving average, and we're below that 21-day moving average. I use this red line, this 21-day moving average, to help me understand where the overall market's at. If we're above it, we're still in a momentum, more of a euphoric, more of a pleasurable area for swing traders and momentum traders to actually trade. When we're below it, we're a little weary. We're a little nervous about what could happen. Below a 50-day moving average, a simple moving average, we have to be even more cautious, because usually this 50-day moving average, as you can see here, and this was the Japanese carry trade, and here you can see a lot of the institutional ownerships will wait for a pullback to that 50-day moving average before they start buying back up, which you can see has been happening over and over and over again. And sure enough, you can see we're below that. So I am a little weary below a simple 50-day moving average. It makes me a bit nervous. Now, just creeping right up underneath that, if we can break above that, see a follow-through day, I will be back in it to win it, baby. But we have so many setups. I'm telling you, I have seen so many setups in the market, and we're going to go over a lot of the best setups and the leaders in the momentum trading market. We will do that very, very soon. I think if this market can hold, I think we're going to see an incredible push higher, and we are going to see new all-time highs within the next 2 weeks. And I always like to be positive, because it always pays to be positive. If you guys don't know why, you haven't been with me that long. I promise you, it always pays to be positive. Negativity, I've never seen a rich pessimist. Okay, I'm stealing that line from William O'Neill himself, but we always want to stay positive. David, woohoo, what's up? No Sosa stopped in. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you, brother. All right, so let's go over the overall market. The S&P 500 below a 50-day moving average. We're trying to hold that 580. The IWM, this is a huge lagger, well below its 50-day moving average, and the 10 has crossed over the 21. This has a lot of proving to do, but with that being said, I always like to be positive. It's holding support down here at this 218. I really think if we break below this 218, we're in for some big downside, okay? So the IWM, lagging like crazy, but we are right when we hit that new all-time high for the IWM and things were just looking so well, this thing just sold right back off. So it's a chop fest out there. You need to be very, very careful with small cap stocks, but once this thing starts to take off from here, we might see some very, very potential upside. Now, NASDAQ, I've been watching the NASDAQ because it has shown and has proven to be the leader in the ETFs. It has been the leader for quite some time now in the ETFs, still holding above a 50-day simple moving average and right underneath the 10 and 21 exponential moving averages. I think that this is the leader, and it clearly has shown and proven itself to be that leader. So if the NASDAQ 100 holding the leading momentum stocks can continue to hold this area, I think we have huge potential upside, and I do think the NASDAQ will continue to be the leader. Let me take this sweatshirt off. It is getting warm in the building. I got the standing desk. That's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm a pacer myself. If you ever talk to me on the phone, I probably walk about 2 miles in 20 minutes in my house. And now here I am pacing in front of my computer screen. Next up is the QQQs. This is your technology ETF. This holds all your leading winners in technology. Of course, it looks just like the NASDAQ because your leaders are technology. They continue to be technology in all of its derivatives. Of course, Bitcoin is still lingering around like some bad morning breath around that $100,000 area. After pushing back up off this area of support And if you don't see the support, I can just show it to you right here. The support is right around that $92,000 area. And you can see we're pushing right back up into that $100,000 area. We're just range bound right here. And that's probably the best case scenario for Bitcoin. So if you're into altcoins, if you're into Bitcoins, it doesn't matter what you're watching. Bitcoin is going to be your leader in your Bitcoin, your altcoins, and everything of that type of derivative. And here, with Bitcoin just being right in this range, we want to see eventually a tightening range with new higher lows before it breaks off higher. So it's creating a beautiful base here. And if you're in Bitcoin, this is definitely something you need to keep an eye on. Of course, we have XLK, which is technology. If you're looking at QQQ or the NASDAQ, you're already looking at XLK. We have XLY, which is consumer discretionary. Okay, now guys, we're going through the sector. We're trying to find the hottest sector so we can understand what is the hottest sector. Okay, if we find the best sectors and we put our money in those sectors in specific stocks, we are better off in the long run. Still above the 50-day moving average. The consumer discretionary had a nice pullback. It looks like we got a bounce on Friday. We have to give it a little bit more time to see where it's at. I'd like to see a new higher low to consider this still very, I mean, it's still healthy because it's above a 50-day moving average, but this pullback needs to show that it is sustainable. We have HACK. I like using the cybersecurity, HACK, to see where the overall cybersecurity is sitting. We're still healthy. We're still above a 50-day moving average, and it has this beautiful uptrend using this 50-day moving average as a guide. XRT is your retail. You can see we're below a 50-day moving average. When we're below a 50-day moving average, I don't need to say anymore. I'm going to stay away from the retail sector currently until we get back above that. That might be tomorrow. That might not be for another year. Regardless, I'm going to wait until we are trending higher. Next is the communication services. This is above a 50-day moving average, and we're starting to see some tightening range here. I could see this very easily breaking out and heading higher tomorrow, but we'll have to see if it actually will prove itself and do that. I like this tightening range here, and if we break out above this, we might see a nice expansion heading back to those new all-time highs. We have the tech software, which is pretty similar to the cyber, but it's below that 50-day moving average. So when we look at something like this, we want to see these above a 50-day moving average. I'm not going to give them too much attention. If they're below a 50, the sector is not hot. XLP, this is the consumer staples, well below a 50, below a 200-day moving average. So unless you're a long-term investor, unless you're someone who looks at these sectors and says, hey, this is below a 200-day moving average, now is when I'm going to start to buy it. Unless you are a long-term investor, this looks juicy to you, right? Because you're trying to buy it at a better value. Not me. I'm waiting to find the momentum. This does not have momentum to the north side. It is heading lower. It's below a 200-day moving average. It's taken one of the biggest hits. So consumer staples, I'm hands off. And that usually is a good sign for the overall market, because if you're not getting into your consumer staples, that means you have the abundance of money to put it into more speculative stocks like technology and other things. We also have XLF here, which is the financial services. The financial services is below a 50-day moving average, carrying on. XBI, which is biotech, below a 200-day moving average, carry on. Next is the real estate sector, below a 200-day moving average. We are going to carry on. XLB, this is materials, well below a 200-day moving average. We are going to move on. This is healthcare. Now, of course, well below a 200-day moving average, but I always want to point out support. We are at support. If we bounce off this support, you might start to see the XLV or the healthcare sector start to turn around. That would be nice. The RSP, so this is realizing the breadth in the market, which is it's been a hot topic lately. It's been a hot topic. Some people saying, why would you use breadth in the market? William O'Neill never used breadth in the market. Well, I just like to know how the overall sectors are working together, because this is equally weighted. If we look at the stock heat map, this is the S&P 500. You can see NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft take up the majority of those sectors. So if NVIDIA does really well, it can hold and continue to pull the market up with it. as where the RSP makes it equally weighted, meaning NVIDIA or the whole electronic technology sector is going to be the same as commercial services and energy materials. So it's nice to know that because we want to see the overall market heading up and working together rather than just one sector dragging us higher. So the RSP in the overall market is below a 50-day moving average. It's not looking very good. But with that being said, we have room for rotation on this pullback. Where is the money going to go? That is the important part. I see B. Stewie out there. He says, smash that like button, and I appreciate that. In case you guys forgot how to do it, just take a little peeky gander at my screen if you would. We are growing so damn fast, and it's all thanks to you. Thank you guys so much. Hit this like button. Hit the subscribe button. If we are bringing you any form of entertainment or education, hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to be here. This is an amazing community. I'm blessed each and every day. I talk to my wife about this all the time. My biggest dream is to have a YouTube show. We have a YouTube show, but I want to do it every single day. I don't want to go to work. I want this to be my work. Currently, I swing trade. I do it. I absolutely have a passion for it and everything with the stock market. Eventually, I don't want to have to go and work a day job. I want to just focus on my swing trading, focus on YouTube, focus on helping new people get up and educated in the overall market so you can be a self-sustaining, driving capital leader yourself. So that is my goal. If you appreciate that, hit that like and subscribe for me. And thank you guys. Thank you, Dan Bob. Thank you, B. Stewie, for always kicking ass and taking names. We're almost to XLE, Dan Bob. We're almost there. No Sosa says, every time I watch the live stream, I learn a little something new, never fails. Brother, I appreciate it. And I appreciate what you do out there, Sosa. I won't give it away, but Sosa is a hero to many. A hero to many. And we had a great conversation over the weekend. Appreciate what you do. And I'm glad that you made it back safely on your travels. Next up is XLI. This is industrial. As you guys know, industrial did very, very well, and so did utility when we started cutting rates. Last year, we started cutting rates, and as those rates get cut, a lot of your industrial, a lot of your utilities, because they have big, hefty loans taken out, when they start to cut rates, you'll start to see a lot of those start to advance higher because they don't have to spend as much. This is a drink for me. That's some good stuff. That's a Pepsi. That's a Pepsi right there. MDY, we're going to go ahead. This is mid caps. We're going to go ahead and skip over this one. Now, this is XLE, guys. So XLE is below a 200-day moving average. I do want to show you, though, it's bouncing off support here. This $82 area is a nice level of support. You can see we double bottomed here. So it makes it interesting. Obviously, I want to see new higher lows, 3 new higher lows to be specific, and then it to get above all of its moving averages before I really start to invest or start to look into the overall sector itself and considering myself saying energy's hot. But you can see it's starting to warm up here. If it can continue to make new higher lows off this 82.50, then I'm going to continue to be interested in it. XLU, just as we talked about industrials, you can see XLU is below a 50-day moving average, but still looking better than most of the other sectors. XOP, this is your gas and exploration below a 200-day moving average. Not very interested, but like energy, bouncing off this area here. They look very similar, very, very similar, and there are a few reasons why. One thing, honorable mention, Dow Jones Industrial. You can see we painted a little proper picture here for you. We're starting to get a small bounce coming back down and seeing if it wants to hold this. But below a 50-day moving average is the big boat, your grandfather's time of stocks, the DJI, Dow Jones Industrial, still below a 50-day moving average and not looking very good because it's held this 50-day moving average for quite some time now, kind of holding down below it and staying below it. That's not a very good sign here. And one thing that's been hot for a while is nuclear. And I like it looking at NLR. We're below a 50-day moving averages, and these moving averages need to converge and show proof of concept where the 10's above the 21 and the 21's above the 50. Right now, we're getting a nice bounce off this area, right around this $80 area. I'd like to see it continue. I'd like to see it head higher. I'd like to see it continue to make money. So that is our sector watch. I don't have much good to say except for the NASDAQ 100 is really what's standing out here, above a 50-day moving average and just lingering around like some bad breath below the 10 and 21. Other than that, our sectors are pretty beat down. Technology, you know, NASDAQ, that's really the only thing that I really like seeing here. Other than that, consumer discretionary is in a hot second, it looks like, okay? Now, we'll go a little bit deeper into the themes and the sectors in a minute here, but I just want you guys to know where the overall market sits. I think it's so pinnacle. It's so important to know and understand where the overall market sits. Right now, we're being held up by technology, you know, and we've done that before. All of, I believe it was 2023, was it 2023? I think the technology drugged the market up and held the market up all of 2023. And it held it up there for a while. Then we had some sector rotation. We had some changes. But now we're seeing a big sell-off. And we're also seeing this big sell-off with higher volume on the sell-off and less volume on the pushes higher, which is a huge concern in my eyes. Now, of course, I'm bringing up a lot of negativity, but I always say it pays to be positive. It pays to be positive, okay? Now, we might see this thing head lower, and I don't want to be naive to that fact. So keep that in mind. We could just as easily head down lower, okay? But this is my line in the sand, this 580. I like this double bottom. If we break this 580 double bottom, I think it's bad news bears. Okay, well, technically it's good news bears, right? It's bad news bulls. Right now, we have a question. We have only 16 votes and 21 of you watching, so make sure you vote on the poll. Do you think the overall market, the S&P 500, will head higher and stay above 580, head lower and break 580, trade sideways for the next week, or are you just here for the watch list, which we will be getting to very, very soon? So make sure that you vote on the poll right now. Right meow. Well, the overall S&P 500 is right in front of your face. This is the 580 marker, this double bottom. Is it going to hold? I want to know what you have to think. All right. Let's see what we got on the list. Well, we went over the sector watch and we went over the ETF watch. I think we're going to bring in Adrian's watch list before I even go over my watch list, because there was quite a bit of stuff here and I asked for his blessing. I want to show you guys just how you can put together these watch lists, okay? So he is very, he's a college boy, right? He knows how to keep things organized and clean. And the whole reason why we did this interview is because he is just a ball of inspiration, and you could just tell that he's soaking all this knowledge up like a sponge, and then he turns around and he does things like this, and I absolutely love it. So this is Adrian's watch list for January 6th, and this is a great way to set up a watch list, okay? I'll show you mine after this, but you want to see just how well things are laid out here, okay? Not all setups are mine or found by me. Thanks for everyone for pointing out these great setups. Absolutely. So quantum, you got QUBT, QBTS, RGTI, GMCO, LAES, IONQ, ARQQ, and Google. Now let's go over just a few of these really quick, and you're going to see some of these are in my leader watch list, which we will go over. But we're going to go over a few of these quantums, and we're going to just show you why it's so important to look at these. Now, first things first, QUBT, quantum computing. Absolutely beautiful. Now, when we look at these quantum computing stocks, we need to understand none of these are going to be making money because these are all futuristic outlooks. These are like, 10-year stocks in the future. I really, truly believe that all these quantum computing stocks are going to go back down basically where they started once this is all over. Once this euphoric, quantum computing thing, I think all these stocks are going to pull back. I think they're all going to pull back because there's no real money being pulled in. So you only can live and dream on hope for so long, okay? None of that matters. None of that matters because if you look at these quantum computing stocks and you say they have the right technical areas where if it breaks above this area, we're going to see it move higher. And that's exactly what we're seeing. You can see a big push up on volume, a pullback, and a trend breakout right here. Look at this first trend breakout right here, okay? Then you get another push up higher, on volume. And this is what's beautiful, guys. When this got brought up, I drew this out for you. We had a big push up here and a pullback, and then I just jokingly drew this out. Not really jokingly, but kind of just drew this out to give you an idea of what could happen. And sure enough, that's exactly what this did. And you'll see my drawings are all over the place on this thing. Got tight and expanded and went much higher. I was not in front of my computer at the time, but that's exactly what happened. Now look, it expanded again on higher volume, pulled back, and created a tightening range once again. Now this QUBT could easily head higher, and it's definitely one that you should keep on your watch list because I love how nice and tight this range is getting. So let's say QUBT breaks above that $19 area. You're going to want to see volume come in on the breakout. And when it does, it should head much higher, much faster. Know where your stop loss is. If I take it at 19, I'm going to want to use the low of the previous day, which would be $17 area. That gives you a $2 risk. You take that $2, you multiply that by whatever amount of money you're willing to risk. If you only want to risk $2, then you only take one share. You set your stop at $17. You can use that. It's fractal, okay, if you want, you know, if you want to use it that way. So QUBT looks absolutely amazing in the quantum computing sector. Let's move on to a few others. QBTS, you're going to see a lot of these look pretty similar. This is not as clean, high, tight flag, but you can see a beautiful trend holding a 10-day moving average. That is a beautiful, beautiful sign for a momentum leader. One thing I definitely don't want to get too far from is Piton. Sandra McDonald, we'll definitely go over Piton and PLTR very, very soon, guys. I have PLTR on my leader list. So Noah, if you stick around, or no, Sosa, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. If you stick around, I'll definitely be going over that. And same for you, Sandra McDonald. We'll be going over Piton very, very soon. So stick around, people. So this is QBTS. You can see a high, tight, rising wedge right here, or a flat base at this 1020 area. I like it. It's looking good. RGTI. If you haven't heard of RGTI, it's all over the place. This thing's heading straight up. One thing I want to point out is that it is extended. I'm not seeing a base. I'm not seeing a trend. I'm hands off this thing. I'm going to let this thing do its thing until it calms down, okay? RGTI looks good, though. If you're in RGTI, I always like using that 10-day moving average as my stop loss. If you're holding RGTI, let me know in the comments. I really would like to know if you're holding this one and where you took it, because it was a hard one to take, except for maybe right here, a beautiful base and trend breakout, a double whammy, if you will. We also have LAES and IONQ. Now, I've been watching IONQ personally. I think you have a base right here at this $50 area. Well, technically it's $47.75, but if it breaks out of this area, it could continue higher. I really would like to see these things all fail, just because fundamentally, it's not working out. They're not making money. They're actually losing money, and they're going to continue to lose money because who's going to buy anything quantum computing? None of it works right now, right? It's all speculatory. And when you have these large, just billions and billions of dollars going into speculatory stocks like quantum computing, eventually this fun is going to come to an end. And that's not me being negative. That's just obvious. I've seen it happen with so many things. Like, if you guys remember EVs when they were so crazy, what was that, 2020, 2021, Tesla, and then there was, once Tesla would move, you had all of these random SPAC stocks, okay, like was it not Lucid, LCID, let me see, LCID, yeah, Lucid, I was right, so Lucid, excuse me. So when Lucid came along, it was a SPAC, okay? And now Lucid came out, and of course it's a penny stock because, you know, it was all based on concept. It was all based on, you know, hearsay. Now you're starting to get a lot of volume down here at the bottom. That's mainly due because of Tesla. When you see Tesla moving up, you're going to see these crap penny stocks start to move up with it. But if there is no concept, Lucid, sure, it has a car, but how many has it sold? How popular is it? Same thing with quantum computing, guys. It's going to be fun and it's going to be euphoric, but once the euphoria is over, you're going to see a lot of these come crashing right back down. So make sure you are using a stop loss. I'm not saying not to trade these. This is a hot sector. This is a hot theme, okay? But once this theme is over, these stocks will come crashing right back down. And quote me on that. And you know, maybe in 2-3 months time, we can look back on this and you can tell me if I was right or wrong. One of those things in the quantum computing, which is kind of a little far-fetched, is Google. Now, I do hold shares in Google. I did buy Google, and I'm holding this one on for the long term. I'm going to hold this in the long-term account with VOO. As you guys know, I like to hold on to some things long-term. When the overall market starts to get a little shaky and we start to break some of those moving averages, I start to buy up as we make these big pullbacks lower. And this is one thing that I did. Google held up so well. Google holding up above all of its moving averages still as the overall market trades below its 50-day moving average. That shows extreme strength in the market. I love it. It's not only showing a beautiful cup with handle, but we also have a trend forming too. If this does break above that trend and kind of forms exactly what I just drew a mock scenario out, I really think Google is really going to take off. Now, if you guys don't want to hold Google for the long term and you're just playing the momentum, just as I would suggest you do, we do have in our Discord, which is absolutely free. You can join it. In our resource section, we have this picture right here. You can just take a picture of this, screenshot it if you'd like, but this has Google on here. Let's see if I can find it. Right here, Alphabet Google. You can use GGLL or GOOX for a 2 and 3x derivative. That way you can make even more money and use less capital. It's very simple. Just remember there's more implied risk to the downside just as well as there is to the upside. So that's quantum. When it comes to AI, you have SOUN. It's been doing very well. You can see it's creating this flag pattern up here. If it can break this trend, it could possibly move higher, trying to hold a 10-day moving average. We have obviously NVIDIA is in there. NVIDIA is doing really well. As the overall market trades below a 50-day moving average, this thing finally broke up and pushed up higher on higher volume. So that's very nice to see. Also, NVIDIA tomorrow night at 9:30, I'm going to be streaming the stream with their keynotes on NVIDIA. So they're going to be giving an update on everything that's going on. And we want to be there. We want to be there. We want to be a part of it. And I want you guys to be here with me. We are so close too to getting our watch time hours. I know you guys hear me talk about that a lot. That way I can get ad revenue going for that. And I am really, really pumped about this channel. It's growing so fast and we are so close to actually getting monetized by YouTube and having that partnership program. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, guys. It helps out tremendously. NVIDIA looks like it's absolutely kicking butt and it's pushing up higher on higher volume. So it's definitely helping drag that market higher. Oh, is it 9 p.m.? I thought it was 9:30, but I'll be on at 9 for sure. Thanks, Dan Bob. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we got. Let me bring this back up here. Now, on his list here, you're going to see a lot that I'm going to go over. There's ANF, Lulu, GME, Bros. We have a lot of these on our leader list, and we're going to go over a lot of these now. So I just wanted to show you guys how this is all kind of set up, how he takes these pictures and makes his annotations. You can do this using Evernote. Evernote's really, really simple. I've shown you guys my Evernote. It looks very, very similar to this. This is his future outlooks on these. It's showing the spots where the breakouts are on SMTC and why, why he's watching these. It's just beautifully set up, and I would love to see everybody setting up just like this. As you see here, this high tight flag, I just drew this out for you as well. So Adrian's doing big things. Absolutely love what he's doing. He's keeping things very, very organized. So congratulations to you on doing all of that. Cheers to you, Adrian. This one's for you, not for me. So thirsty. Okay. Now, I think what I'll do is we're going to go over the watch list. I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. We're going to go over the leaderboards okay? The leader watch list, because I think that's mostly important. We're gonna go over my leaderboards. Some of these I'm gonna start removing from the leaderboards because they're still below a 50-day moving average. If you're below a 50-day moving average, you're not a leader anymore, but I wanna go over them because we had these 2 weeks ago, and I wanna show you where we're at today. So we went over NVIDIA, that's where we're at. It's still trying to lead, of course, below a 50-day moving average. I wouldn't have considered it, but now that it's pushed higher, right at this area of resistance, if we can break up higher and hold, I think NVIDIA is still going to continue to be a strong leader. But right now, AVGO is the leader in those semiconductors. We'll get to that in just a minute. Tesla is holding above that 50-day moving average, trying to stay above a 10 and 21-day moving average. This pullback did not come down all the way to its breakout area. That's a good sign. It's showing it's holding most of its gains. If it can hold most of those gains, then we are showing new higher lows. Thank you so much, Azrith, for the subscribe. I appreciate that very, very much. We also have Meta, guys. Meta is trading sideways. That's 2 subscribes, guys. Woo, let's go, baby. I appreciate you. Low hard. Thank you so much for subscribing, guys. I appreciate that very much. Let's see. So Meta Platforms. Meta Platforms is at a very, very key area here. This is a base breakout if I've ever seen one. 603.85. If it breaks out above this area, I would love to see this thing rip, tater chip to the north side. That's what we want to see in these stocks, these momentum leaders. And Meta has definitely been that momentum leader here. So right here at 604.63, so let's say tomorrow we get some volume into this thing and it heads higher, I think Meta has a chance to go much, much higher. So make sure you have Meta on your watch list. And of course, if you guys want, you can use, let me just bring it up really quick. You can use this on Meta. If we scroll down here, you're gonna find Meta right here. You can use METU or FBL as your 2X movers, where you can buy Meta for much, much cheaper and play it twice as fast. You have to be very careful with these though, and you might be able to find yourself a proper trade in this. Just make sure you use risk management, know where your stop loss is gonna be, and remember, this is your trade, not mine. So make sure if you get into this, you know what you're doing. VST was something I had on my watch list, and it was just getting below that 50-day moving average, just almost to the point where I wanted to take this off my watch list, and then it popped right back up. So Vistra Corp still holding out, still doing well. Right now, it's not showing a trade because it's going straight up. Now we're extended. We need to show this thing create a trend or a base breakout, and I'm not seeing either one on those. Microsoft, I'm not too happy with Microsoft down here, letting the charts load below a 50-day moving average, not looking so hot. We also have SE. I had so much excitement and potential for SE because it is a leader. This thing just doing its best to try and hold this area down here. This is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see it pull back, undercut, and then rally back up, get tight, and then break above this 117 area. It's not, okay? So it's below the 50-day moving average. It's not showing a leader like you would see like in Meta, okay? Meta's one of my number one on my watch list right now. And we're gonna get to the number ones here in just a minute. MSTR, as you guys know, MSTR, it's just getting above that 50-day moving average. I was actually surprised to see it pulled all the way back down here before its breakout area. Because if you look at MSTR, it's held this 10-day moving average so damn long, and now it's broke its 50-day moving average. Obviously, it using Bitcoin as a Bitcoin treasury. They're borrowing money against themselves to buy more Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is doing something completely new in this in the stock market, which is, it's beautiful to see something new happen. But it's also just one of those things where you want to see it hold most of its gains. Like I wanted to see the breakout happen here, and it did not. It had a fake breakout and a breakdown. Now we have to give it some time to see if it's truly a leader, if it's going to continue higher, or if this thing is just in an area of price discovery and where it's going to land. I was also using IBM as a leader. It's still holding above a 50-day moving average, but doesn't look like we have much of a setup. You could use this as a trend break setup, but where's the new higher lows? Not liking it. SoFi had a huge undercut here. If this thing can rally back up and get into this area, we might still be able to use this as a base breakout here at that 1650, but we'll have to give it some more time and see. HIMS, I'm about to take off my leader list. This thing broke all the way back down, just above a 50-day moving average. I'm still going to give it time because as you guys seen, we just looked at the overall health sector and we're seeing a bounce off support. So if it can hold that area and continue higher, I think HIMS might be on the table for a future trade. We already talked about IONQ. It's one of the leaders in the quantum computing sector. I just keep an eye on it. No trade here for me, but if you're looking to trade quantum computing, QUBT seems to be the absolute best in that area. We also have Amazon. I like to keep an eye on Amazon. It is definitely one of the leaders because look at this. As the overall market pulls back, the overall market has a huge pullback. You can see it's still above a 10-day moving average. If you find any stock that is not a small cap or a mid cap stock and it's above a 10-day moving average, that is a huge sign of strength here, okay? Now we're looking at the 10-day moving average, and if we just draw a simple trend breakout right here, you can see AMZN has a huge potential to break out higher and continue higher. And of course, once again, referring back to this table, if you want to use AMZU or AMZZ, you'll have a much faster moving stock because this thing moves very slow. It's a big boat. So if you use one of the 2 or 3x, a 2x leverage bull ticker, you're going to make more money quicker. But of course, you can lose more money faster. That's why we play the momentum stocks. And if this momentum doesn't break out and doesn't happen, we're using risk management using either previous low of day or we're using a proper area like this 218. If this breaks below 218, I think it can head much lower, much faster. So understand risk management before you take any kind of trade like this, guys, okay? Amazon looking absolutely strong, a beautiful leader. ASAN, still above a 50-day moving average, still above its gap up area from its earnings, still looking like a leader, but needing more time in my opinion. I'm not seeing a trend or a proper base breakout here. So definitely one to keep an eye on. I absolutely love this right here. I remember Adrian actually called this out and said, is this going to be the breakout of the year? Very high, tight flag, a little extended from the 10-day moving average. I much rather see this 10-day moving average kind of creep up here and, you know, slide up underneath this before breaking out higher, but it didn't. After breaking out, this is the exact reason why I always say I like to take half at all-time highs, because then this could roll over and then stop your last half out for break even. This could have been a winning trade if you were a momentum trader the way I like to trade things. Of course, I teach everybody how to do this trend and base breakout strategy. Very important. But like I said, guys, eventually the trend and base breakout videos, I'm going to make it for members only. Now you can be a member. For only $5 a month, you'll have access to those 2 trend and base breakout strategies. If you've been a part of the show, which I think a lot of the listeners watching right now have been a part of the show, you know my base and trend breakout strategies because you've been with me for 2 or 3 years now. We finally have made it to where it's members only. It's only $5 a month. Of course, there's other membership fees if you want to be a part of that. But other than that, you don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. I want this to be a free trading resource. All you have to do is keep showing up, guys. Keep showing up, keep listening, keep working hard, keep getting better every single day, and I promise you'll get this stuff down pat. But this right here, a beautiful trend breakout strategy in a momentum leader. It's unfortunate it pulled back and you would have only made so much, an X amount of money on this, but we have to wait for this to set up again. Of course, we have DEC, DECK. This is a huge leader above a 10-day moving average. This is going to be put on my top 10, my top, well, this looks like I got more like a top 9, almost a top 10 right now, but DEC, DECK, which is Decker Outdoor Corporation. If you don't have Decker on your watch list, you need to. It's a little bit slower of a mover, but I'm telling you guys, this DEC has been doing very, very well. It's obviously trending higher. While the overall market pulled back, DEC held strong. That shows that the institutional ownerships that are holding on to this trust and believe that this could head higher. Like I said, guys, with the overall market looking a little shaky, we're still seeing a lot of your leaders holding strong. Absolutely beautiful. And B-Stewie, I see ya. That AVGO, I'm trying to get to AVGO. It's one of my #1 watches. And I know you're looking for the 2X, the AVGX tomorrow. That would be an absolute beautiful play. So we'll get to that in just a second. And Apple, AAPL, pulled well back, but still above a 50-day moving average. This thing was an absolute beast, guys. When it finally broke this base, simple base breakout, it had much higher, much faster. You love to see the biggest stock in the market doing this. It's showing strength. When you have the leader in the market, when I say leader, we're talking Apple is the biggest stock in the overall market. You can see it's heading higher. That's a strong sign. Now, if we can just hold this breakout area, I don't want to see it give up all of these gains here. I'd like to see this huge pullback. It's undercutting, and then if it starts to rally, we might see Apple head much higher, much quicker. Now, I know one of you brought up PLTR, Noah Sosa. I'm glad that you are watching PLTR. Big reason why, it's a leader in the market. We always want to be following leaders. We always want to focus on the leaders, and PLTR has been a leader. We identified this a leader as it broke out way back here on its earnings debut. This thing really headed higher. It showed new all-time highs, had a simple base breakout. Then after earnings, it continued higher. This thing has been rip, tater chip into the north side. You love to see it. Now up here, I think this has a nice base breakout look to it. It's not as clean as I would want, so I'm going to stay away from this one. But I'm telling you guys, PLTR, if it continues this trend, you can use this 21-day moving average as your stop loss. It might pose a good risk management strategy for you in the way you trade. Just remember, this is your trade. These are not my trades. So Sosa says he got it cheap, and that's where we like to get it. Absolutely. Dan Bob says, if you like to bless David with a cup of coffee, we now have super chats. Absolutely. And you know what's funny about the super chats is I made a little video. Dan Bob hates the video. But the first person to actually do a super chat, I'm gonna play the video one time just to see people's reaction. It's a real dumb video, but I had fun with it. It made the wife laugh, so I'm sure I can get a few cheap laughs out of you guys. So first person to do a super chat, I don't care if it's for 50 cents. If you do a super chat, I will be happy to play that video. So definitely. It'd definitely be worth the 50 cents. PLTR, definitely on the leader list. We also have DocuSign, or Doximity, DOCS. Now, I had, excuse me, I had this, I played this, absolutely like the look of it. Now it's looking a little choppy to me, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it. It's still a leader. We're still seeing a lot of volume come in here. So DOCS is on my watch list. We also have Netflix. Now, if you guys remember, I remember Dan Bob pointed this out to me, and I'm always going to bring this up because this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful trend breakout strategy right here, guys. You can see it with your own eyes. This is the daily time frame, just like we've been using for everything here right now. This is the daily time frame, and look at this. We have expansion on earnings, on higher volume, then we have contraction following this 10-day moving average getting very, very tight here, and then we break out on higher volume above this trend area. We took this trade. We made a lot of money on Netflix. I fumbled it right here on the first pullback, and look at this. It continued higher. That's why we need to stick to our rules right here, guys, because this is when I should have exited. This is when I should have exited, when we closed below a 10-day moving average. It's A-okay, though. You cannot just be absolutely perfect on everything, but that's why we try to reduce our emotion. If we can reduce our emotion and just hold on to the stocks by using very specific rules, you can make the most out of your money. You can't just say, well, I think it's going to go higher or I think it's going to go lower, because then you're going to give yourself random results. And if you give yourself random trades, you're going to get random results and you're never going to get better. Trust me, I was stuck for 2 years doing random shit. Stop doing it. Start staying focused on a process. And that's what we do here in the David Worrell community. We also have LX, which I found to be very, very interesting. We have an undercut here, an undercut and a rally, okay? UNC, undercut and rally. Very, very important for stocks. One of the most important things that I learned was this undercut and rally. It undercuts this low, knocking a lot of people, all the weak-handed or the paper hands, if you will, out of the trade, and then it heads higher. Now, if it gets this beautiful base breakout and heads higher, we might see this thing really take off. So keep LX on your watch list. On top of that, look at this VPC, VCP, volume contraction pattern, volume price contraction, whatever. Mark Minervini coined it. I always have trouble remembering, but what it is you get huge volume expansion, and as we trade sideways or sell off, you have less volume on the contraction, okay? So expansion, contraction, less volume on its contraction. That is the VCP pattern by Mark Minervini. We want to see this thing break out higher on a base breakout. Keep LX on your watch list. DOCU, I'm just keeping an eye on it. It's just below its 21-day moving average, still trying to hold the majority of its gains from its earnings. We're going to see what happens there. We also have ALAB, which is a humongous leader in this market right now. ALAB still above a 10-day moving average and held above a 21-day moving average, even though the market was below that 21. Absolutely beautiful to see. We also have Rocket Lab. Now, I absolutely know for a fact that in our Discord, Rocket Lab has been an absolute piece of gold. You guys absolutely love Rocket Lab. And you know what? I love it too, because you guys are making money off of it. I haven't played Rocket Lab. I missed my opportunity multiple times on Rocket Lab. This right here was my main watch. All the way back here when we were holding a 21-day moving average, this was the take for me right here. And you could have taken it here. You could have taken it right here. You could have taken the simple base breakout right here. I'm telling you guys, this had 3 of the best opportunities in Rocket Lab. And I know a lot of you guys capitalized on this. I know Dan Bob has made money. I know B. Stewie's made money. I know Sweet Jolene has made some money on this trade. You guys have been kicking ass on Rocket Lab, and I've been having to just sit back, relax, and root for my people. If I can't make money off of it, at least my people can. I'm glad the community's out there kicking ass and taking names, because I can't take every one of these damn trades. So let's keep on keeping on. We're going to keep an eye on Rocket Lab because we're at a simple base breakout now. This might be a beautiful take tomorrow if it can continue higher here. Of course, it is a little extended from the 10-day moving average. We don't like to see that. I much rather see this do something in the lines of this. I'll just draw it out for you. Maybe we have a nice easy pullback, and then we get tighter, and then we take off. So a little bit of expansion here. I'd like to see contraction right under that 2875 area. If that happens, then I think we really can head higher. Dan Bob corrected me with VCP, volume contraction pattern. I'm pretty sure I said that once in my mix-up, but thank you, Dan Bob. I appreciate you helping me out, man. You guys know, doing live streams can be tough. I'm putting it all out there on the line for you. So if you can appreciate that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, guys, because we do it and we do it big. I even take live trades in front of you. I've been doing this for so many years on this show, and we are really starting to expand. We are really starting to expand, and it's all because of this amazing community. One other one that I just added recently is CyberArk Software, or CYBR. It is definitely a leader. And if you look here, it's got a beautiful track record. It's making lots of money. It's expanding between 25 and 30%, which is in the William O'Neill's How to Make Money in Stocks, the Can Slim. We want to see 25% growth quarter over quarter and year over year, and we're seeing that with this stock. So CYBR is on my watch list. Of course, it is extended. It's very extended. Actually, when the overall market was pulling back and getting absolute just shit on, CYBR not only held, but it went higher on higher volume. So to me, that's absolutely a sign that this is a pure leader in the market. Now, I wouldn't say to take it here because we're extended. I am waiting for contraction. I'm waiting for it to show me a trend or a base breakout. Let's see. Noah just discussed about LX. Very cool. Ash, I'm glad you joined. This is the guy I told you about. What's up? Hey, cool. I could see you guys talking about me, right? Welcome, Ash. I'm glad you're here. And yeah, Sosa, him and I have been chatting for quite some time now. And it's good to see both of you in here. And I'm glad you guys are part of the team. Next one is SMWB. I really like this. I almost took this trade. If we weren't below a 50-day moving average, I probably would have taken this. I seen this and I just held off. We have a beautiful trend right here and a trend break after an undercut. It rallied back up through this trend. We also have the VCP, the contraction pattern right here as well. Absolutely beautiful. I'd like to see this have continuation. Obviously, I'm not going to take this now because this, to me, would have been the take at 1430 with new higher lows being set in, holding a 21-day moving average. Of course, this is one that you want to keep on your watch list because it very clearly is showing that it is a leader. All right. Now, these are my top watches. The ones that we already went over, I'm going to skip over, but these next ones are my top. If you haven't listened to a damn thing I said so far at all tonight, what I want you to do is at least take this. So pay attention, please. Google GOOGL, above a 10-day moving average, showing a trend setup and a beautiful William O'Neill style cup and handle on this. If we look at this thing on the weekly, you can see it is much more clear as day. Look at this beautiful cup with handle. This is what I'm expecting to happen. I do have about $23,000 wrapped up in Google right now. It's a very serious trade of mine, but remember, this is my trade. This is not your trade. This is my trade, and my stop loss is set below this 187. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to completely remove myself from this because it is in the longer term account. I'm not using a 2x leverage. I'm using a longer term account to buy, to hold, and to see if this Willow quantum computing stock is going to come into fruition, or if we at least use AI and Google, it pairs well. This was another one that everybody else was talking is Bros, BROS. Bros is well above a 10-day moving average and had a simple base breakout on Friday. If it can hold this area, I think we might be able to bounce off of this $56 area and head much higher. They have amazing growth. It's well over 25% quarter over quarter. If you don't have this on your watch list or you have not heard of Bros just yet, well, guess what? You are sleeping under a rock and you need to definitely keep this on your watch list. We talked about DEC. We talked about AMZN. Now we can talk about B. Stewie's AVGO. AVGO is the leader in the semiconductor group right now. Yes, NVIDIA is sleeping. Tomorrow, after our show at 9 p.m., we will determine whether AVGO is still the leader or NVIDIA is the leader. But I love this capitalism. Let them fight. Let them argue. Let them tell us who the real leader is in the market. But I will say this. With AVGO, huge expansion, huge contraction here. It's starting to get tight. We're having a high tight flag here. I want to see this thing break out above 240 and then rip, tater chip to the north side. That's exactly what we want to see out of this. We already talked about Meta. Meta has a simple base breakout. It's squatting down right on top of that now. We want to see this explode within the next couple of days. Now, Reddit. I tell you what, when it comes to Reddit, I had no faith in Reddit. I don't use Reddit. I probably should, obviously, if I want to, expand things, but I missed my Reddit trade. It's so perfect right here. At this bottom, you have this huge base, like a 6-month base. Then it gets really tight here, and what ruins it? Earnings. Now, you could have this earnings continuation where you played the 1-minute range breakout, just like we called out on AVGO. Right here, we marked it out. This is a 1-minute opening range break that you could still be in right now. If you were with us in the Discord, we called the 1-minute opening range break. I was actually in Discord chatting with B. Stewie and Dan Bob and Jolene and Zamora when this went down. Completely got sidetracked. Did not take the 1-minute opening range break. I'm not really kicking myself in the butt for it. Usually these leaders will set up again. That being said, we're going to continue watching AVGO. We're going to continue watching Reddit for the base breakout. My alert set at 181, basically 182. When it breaks out, if I see volume on the breakout, you better believe I'm going to take a little chunk in that. Then, of course, app. I did take app on Friday. I took it on half share size simply because I really like this stock. This simple base breakout happened. I just got in a piece. If we pull back down to this bottom of its range, I probably will add. Again, this is my trade. It's not yours. It's not financial advice. This is me just using the technical analysis and liking this base break at a psychological $350 area. And if we can continue higher on volume, I think this thing can really reach for the stars. Reach for the stars. Now, of course, I do not want to forget about Sandra. Sandra asked my thoughts on Piton. And this would be a great time, guys. If you want to throw your tickers in the chat, I'll be happy to go over them for you. I don't care what they are. Small caps, mid caps, large cap, mega caps, you name it, I will go over it. I'll give you my honest to goodness thoughts, and you can take them as you will. Now, Piton, I'm going to tell you right off the get, not that this matters at all, but I don't believe in Piton. I think Piton, Peloton is a garbage company. They don't have anything except for an expensive bike, and unless they get bought out, I don't see it being a good revenue. This is, sure, you might like the bike, sure, you might like, but it is in a huge downtrend. Like the longer term outlook on this is just a humongous downtrend. This was a huge 2020 COVID stock related thing. It went skyrocketing, and now, you know, you don't really see these very often. It's not anything too, you know, too important or too pizzazzy. So my bias for Piton sucks. We're in a huge downtrend, but we are above a 200-day moving average, and it's trying to hold above its 50-day moving average. If you wanted to look at something and looked at the positive side, you could say Piton has this area of support right here, and if it can hold this area, it might be able to continue higher above this $9 area because it's just pulling back. It's retesting its breakout area, and if it can, it will. We also could look at this. We can see its earnings here had a double beat, which was a big surprise, 100% surprise on its earnings, but still not making money, okay? And it's even estimated to lose more money. So until something happens here, I don't really believe in it, but we have a push up on volume, and then as it trades sideways, we have this volume contraction pattern. It might move higher, but personally, I think there are so many better stocks out there. I really do. I think there's a lot of better stocks out there, and I just think I'd rather see you look at something that's a leader. Where Piton, if we look at it, you know, on the longer term, it's just not a leader. It's just not a leader, okay? Let me make sure I got all the, let's see. David's the guy. Yeah, baby. AVGO is Timu of chips. Dan Bob is such a hater on AVGO. I love it. Him and I go back and forth all the time on who's the leaders. That's why I love Dan Bob. He really doesn't bite his tongue with me. He really keeps it real. And he says AVGO is the Timu of the chip sector. So AVGO, NVDA, we're gonna see tomorrow. Does NVIDIA has what it takes to become the leader once again? But personally, I think AVGO is the leader. NVIDIA might be a more long-term strategy, but regardless, in the technical analysis, you cannot argue with AVGO. It's absolutely beautiful, but so is NVIDIA. What's going on, Nadayo? You made it. It's good to see you, brother. Hell yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's do, Dan Bob's got AISP. Wow, Dan Bob, you got a lot for me. So AISP, I believe, let me read this. Technology Services and Package Software. So if I have some anchored VWAPs here. You can see anchored VWAP from all-time high. It's kind of coming right down on top of it, as well as that 10-day moving average. You can see this is getting pretty wide and loose. I want to see this thing get tighter before we actually take a play on this. So it might work out. Now, when we see this, Airships AI Holdings, you can see its initial IPO, it just cratered. Then it ramped right back up and cratered again. Now it's ramping right back up. My question is, well, what do you think is going to happen? I really think that if this thing ramps right back up, it's going to hit this big wall of resistance. You know, this big wall of resistance. There's a lot of people holding stocks here, a lot of things that can sell off into it. Now, if it eliminates those, chews through its resistance, it can definitely head higher. But right now, I'm not seeing much of a setup on AISP, not caring for it too much. CRDO, I know we've been talking about CRDO for a while, and clearly it's definitely a leader. It's holding, or I wouldn't say a leader, but it's definitely holding, oh, this might be a leader. This is in the technology group, and we're getting a nice base / trend breakout here. I'll show you the trend. That's a nice trend breakout, holding a 21-day moving average. CRDO is definitely one that you can keep on your watch list for sure. We have INVZ, definitely one that I've been hearing about lately. Innoviz Technologies, you can see here a nice high tight flag. Definitely one you can keep on your watch list. Lots of volume coming in this area as well. Beautiful. MVST, very nice high and tight flag here. So I like to see this. I like to see this high tight flag. We can even pan this out a little bit so you guys can see it. This was a nice take right here. It undercut just a little bit. Didn't undercut everything, but undercut, rallied back up. Nice trend breakout. Beautiful to see. RBRK, I believe, is one. We went over this before. You can see it's holding a 21-day moving average. I'm not seeing a trade on this. No real clean trend, no real base. You could draw something like this if you wanted to and see if it held. I'd like to see a couple more tight days before it breaks out here. I don't know exactly. What is rubric? Technology, information, sector, provisions, cloud data management solutions. Okay. Cloud data is very prevalent, looking very, very good. UMAC, let's take a little look. This thing has been holding out very, very well. Unusual Machines Incorporated. You have this VPC. This looks really nice, guys. I like it. I don't see a trade on it for me personally. I'm not seeing a base or a trend breakout, but definitely holding above its moving averages in a very weary market. So that's a nice one too, Dan Bob. And VRAR is one that looks really nice. Huge push up on volume, a pullback, trying to hold the majority of its gains here and pulling back on lighter volume. This has got a nice trend break. Trend break look to it right here is going to be the trend. If it breaks above that $3 area, that might be a proper area for risk management. Definitely keep an eye on that one. Let's see here. ACB from Sosa. Let's take a look at ACB. So this is a cannabis stock, and the first thing I'm going to tell you about this is it's below a 200-day moving average. If you're going to look into a cannabis stock, I would think right now CAN is a leader. So if you're looking into cannabis, I would stay away from anything below a 200-day moving average. Right now, CANA, is probably your leader in cannabis, but even then, if we look at it, it's on a long-term downtrend. I still don't trust this at all, okay? But it is making new higher lows on CAN, above a 50-day moving average and above a curling 200-day moving average. So if the marijuana stocks is kind of your sector, I would be really careful with finding anything that's below a 200-day moving average. At least find something that's above a 200-day moving average like CAN. But ACB, I would stay away from it personally. You might find this the perfect buy, but when I look at this, just like TLRY, you can see TLRY is just on a huge downtrend, below a 200-day moving average. So if you're going to look at any cannabis stocks, I'd much rather you look at the leader in cannabis stocks. And I hate even calling this a leader in its sector because most cannabis stocks are just, they keep getting crapped on. And until we get a full finalization from the federal government that we can legalize it and they're going to accept, accept that these companies are real and they're making real money and they're paying real taxes, stuff like that. Not to get controversial or anything, but until that happens, I'm not going to believe in these cannabis stocks. But if you are interested, CAN would be your better route to go rather than ACB. Yes, we did go over sound already. We went over MVIS, I do believe, already. Microvision. In case we didn't, you can see it's trying to hold above its moving averages, kind of getting wide and loose. I want to see this thing get tight, right? We get a lot of volume here. Push up above its 21-day moving average, showing a higher tight flag, a high flag, but it's not tight yet. So we need to see this expansion, get more contraction before we take off and head higher. Let's see what else we got in the buttons. KITT from Nadayo. Nadayo, I've been missing you, brother. It's good to see you in here, man. Nautica Robotics, it's just getting above a 200-day moving average, but when we really zoom out on this thing, you can just see it just constantly heads lower and lower and lower. And when you guys see stocks like this, I want you to look at this and I want you to say, you're not getting a deal, but this is going to continue to head lower. It's got a ton of volume coming into it, but why does this volume look so much higher than it ever has before? Probably because this thing has had so many stock splits. There are so many shares in this market. There are so many damn shares that there has to be this amount of volume to get this small of a move. And when I say this small of a move, yeah, that's probably 200-300% on this. Let's see, 170%, so I was close. But that's nothing. Anytime this thing moves and breaks out higher, it gets sold off and gets absolutely crapped on. So I would be very, very careful with KITT. I think there's a lot better leaders out there that you can put your money into, and I'd much rather you guys play a more safe route rather than getting into these penny stocks. So I don't like KITT at all, Nadayo, and I hope I'm not being too rude when I say that. It's just I'm a swing trader. I'm a momentum trader. This does not show momentum. First, I want to see the trend, right? And it's trending down. Like the overall trend is heading lower. And once I finally see that trend, then there's a multitude of other things that I want to see. But the first thing that we want to see is trend. And right now, this is trending down, not up. So I got to stay away from KITT. Zamora, still, yes. RR. So let's take a look at RR. So this is Rich Tech Robotics, and same thing, guys. This thing is definitely trending lower, but because it's a newer IPO, it's kind of interesting. We're getting a lot of volume here, and it's starting to rip up higher. Zamora, I know you get excited when you see these things, but my only issue with this is there's no real play because we can't just buy it up here at the top because it could easily pull back to where it came from, right? So if you're looking at this thing, we would want to see something more on the lines of this, and for it to get tighter and tighter and have some form of base, and then it actually take off and break out and head higher here. That would be the ideal scenario. I would love to see that happen. And it might actually just do that. If it doesn't, then I'm going to be hands off and I'm going to let it do its thing and let it play out. So that's RR. It's definitely one that may work out. We're getting volume, but we need more time to see if it actually sets up. NITO. So when I look at NITO right off the get, you see a huge push up on volume on the daily time frame. We can look at this thing on the hourly to help understand a little bit better, but regardless, on the daily and on the hourly, it's in an area of price discovery. It has no idea where it's going to go, neither do I, and we have nothing to calculate risk management off of. That's very, very important when I say that. Let me say it again. There is no area to risk off of. Unless you're going to risk this low of $2 and risk 64 cents, then that's what you're going to have to risk. But I'm not seeing a trend or a base breakout on this. It might be one that you want to keep on your watch list because it's new, because it's hot right now. It's in the consumer durables, the household personal care, but it's not making money, not quarterly, not annually. It's got this huge pop up here. I wouldn't know what to do with this thing, but it's definitely interesting. It definitely gets exciting when you get 100-200% moves, but until it actually shows that it's actually contracting and showing a tightening range, there's nothing I can do with NITO as of right now. We also have Ash saying ENVX. Now I've heard of ENVX. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but if we look at this on the overall trend, you can see it's obviously trending lower. It looks like it's due for a pop, but you can see I created this trend on here a while ago. But because it's just getting above its moving averages and it's breaking above some of its anchored VWAP, this thing really needs to break its daily trend here. It really needs to get above this $15 area, hold, and then show me proof of concept. But annually and quarterly, this thing has just been an absolute dog crap of a stock. So I wouldn't really focus so much on ENVX. I'd rather you focus on a leader like Google or Netflix or LX or DocuSign or Rocket Lab, CYRB, A-Lab, AVGO, APP, Reddit, something like that, rather than focusing on something like this that is not making money quarter over quarter or year over year, anything like that. So I don't really care for ENVX, and I'm not seeing too much of a play here. Okay. And guys, I'm not being negative. You know, if you like these stocks, I hope you don't have a biasy towards them. I'm just giving you the technical analysis on things, whether it's something that we should or shouldn't be looking at. And ENVX just doesn't cut my criteria, right? When there's so many good stocks out there, so many things that we could really watch for a breakout, a trend or a base breakout, a momentum leader. There's so many good stocks out there. I'd rather you stay focused on those stocks to the long side, right? This might be a great stock to short after a pop. Let's say it pops up to 15, just like it pops up to here, pops up to here. You get a euphoric pop and then a euphoric sell-off, right? Euphoric pop and then a euphoric sell-off. This is getting another euphoric type pop. Are we going to see a sell-off, or is this time different? That's the real question there. B. Stewie said MVST. I think we went over MVST a couple of times now, so we're just gonna, yeah, we did. High tight flag forming here. Not really tight. We have a high flag forming. It needs to get a little tighter, but it's actually showing proof of concept in its fundamentals, so that's a good sign. UAMY, what's up, Yosef? It's good to see you, brother. UAMY is trying to hold above its 21-day moving average. Kind of a sloppy range up here, but I can see why you're interested. We get kind of like this trend look, and this VPC down here. You can see a beautiful volume contraction pattern right here. That's very nice. That's what Mark Minervini would want to see. When it comes to the overall sentiment on how the money that it's making, you can see there's proof of concept. Quarterly, it's making some money, not as much as it would like to. Annually, it doesn't look like it's doing very well the last year. So in 2023, its last quarter, it's showing that it's losing money. So keep an eye on that. If this is something that you're interested in, make sure you're using risk management. This definitely can get volatile. Wow, we get a lot of tickers. You know, I ask you guys when we do this, I always ask you, like, make sure you're bringing me some tickers so we can go over some tickers and yada, yada, yada. You guys are killing it tonight. We went over so many damn tickers. Absolutely love to see it. Love to see everybody in the chat. If you guys could do me a huge favor, look at my screen if you haven't been already. Do me a favor, hit this like button. I'm going to refresh this page. I hope I get a good surprise here. We got 19 likes. We got 18 watching. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I do everything for you absolutely free. Obviously, there's ways to contribute to give me some of your beautiful hard-earned money, but we don't ask for it. It's just something that you can do on your own, and we appreciate that. But the only thing I do ask of you is to hit that like and subscribe button so we can get out to the majority of people, the newer traders, the seasoned vets. Regardless, we are growing this amazing community, and I have a dream to just focus on YouTube, just so I can help the community, to help bring a better community, a spam-free community out there. And with your help, you can help right now by hitting that like, hitting that subscribe button. And then, of course, we have a poll right here. Do you think the overall market, the S&P 500, will head higher and stay above 580? 55% of you right now say yes. 5% think that we're going to go lower, and 25% say trade sideways. The other 15 is just here for the watch list. I hope you guys enjoyed my watch list because I definitely enjoyed curating it for you. I actually have a whole another watch list that aren't the leaders. So if you guys want to continue, if you want me to continue to stick around, I still have so much more to go over. If you want to leave, I totally get it. We've already been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes, but I am long-winded and I had 2 weeks to go and think about all of this crap. So if you're still here with me, cheers. This one's for you, not for me. All right, let's get right back at it. Let's see. Beef Stewie says, please hit that like button. My man, the myth, the legend, Beef Stewie. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Sosa says ZSPC. Now, that is not a ticker I have heard of, but it looks like a newer IPO, Z-Space. Let's read about Z-Space. It engages in the provision of augmented reality, or AR, and virtual reality, also known as VR, education technology solution. It offers platforms that serves a broad range of critical education tools designed for K-12 science, technology, engineering, and math. So that sounds very, very interesting. Let's see if they're actually making some money. Since they're a newer IPO, it's going to be kind of hard, but it looks like quarter over quarter, it's kind of up in the air here, guys. It looks like they're just starting to make a little bit of money this quarter. Annually, they have not made money last year, so it's kind of up in the air, but it's a newer IPO. I'm not seeing a trade on this. So what I mean by that is I look at the daily time frame. Do I see a base or do I see a trend? And I'm not seeing either one here. So ZSPC is not for me, but if you want to keep this on your watch list, over time, this might set up something. We might see something on the lines of like this, where, excuse me, over time, we might see it do something like this, get tight before then breaking out higher on volume. So we'll see. Maybe give this thing some time, but I think it's too new to really tell. This might be like a RDDT where they opened up. They didn't do much at all down here. You can see they kind of sold off. It popped up, and then it created this range right here. And then it sold back off again. And then once it formed another base, it took off and was absolutely beautiful. So it might do something like that in the future for ZSPC, Z-Space. Dan Pablo Dan. What? It's Mexi Dan. Mexicali Dan. Sandra says, thoughts on PERI? Thanks. Absolutely. PERI. So again, below a 200-day moving average and obviously clearly on a downtrend. So definitely not one that I would want to be a part of, especially when we have such amazing stocks like Meta, AVGO, Amazon, DEC, Bros. So many stocks that are actually trending to the north side, where PREI is just trending down, and we don't want to be in. They always say trend is your friend, right? Trend is your friend. If you're in a trend that's to the downside, then you want to be looking for that trend to continue lower. If you're in a trend that's heading to the high side, well, you kind of know where I'm going with this. So that's my thoughts on PERI. It's really beat down. You might look at this and say, hey, look, I really like the stock. It was all the way back up here, 34 just last year. I think it can get back up there. This is what maybe, Warren Buffett might consider a cigar butt, right? Where it's got one last puff on it. One last puff before it fizzles out and burns out. That's not the stocks I'm looking for. I'm looking for trend breakouts, base breakouts, and I'm trying to hold on to it for that momentum. I'm not seeing trend. I'm not seeing... I guess you could say this is a trend breakout all the way down here, but because we're below a 200-day moving average, I would be hands off this. You almost could consider this, a stage 2 or a stage 1 breaking into a stage 2 possibly, but because of the trend and where it's at, I wouldn't even consider this, okay? That's just my thoughts, Sandra. Let's see, Dan Bob says, thank you for joining us tonight. Yes, we will see you tomorrow night live for the NVIDIA Speaks CES at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you guys are here for that. Global Defense News, thanks for showing me. Noah's getting lots of people in here. Global Defense, I hope that you hit that like and subscribe button. We are here every Sunday. And of course, we have Discord meetings. Everything's absolutely free, just out of the kindness of my heart. I absolutely love doing this. B Stewie, PRCH, he says, let's take a little peeky gander at PRCH and we zoom out. This is what we're looking for here, guys, right? We're starting to base out. We're starting to create new higher lows above a 200-day moving average and now showing a beautiful range here. I think this needs a little bit more time, but this could eventually be a base breakout around that 571 area. This might be a nice trade. We're getting a lot of volume here on this push up, and now that we're trading sideways, we're getting a lot less volume on the sell-off. So that looks very, very good. Jolene says you all are running late. Yeah, damn right, Jolene. We got a lot to go over. Since I was on vacation, and we go out on vacation, I come back to all this chop in the market. Then we have, the holidays where the whole next week we're getting some days where we're on, some days where we're off. I'm telling you, I still got so much I want to go over. So if you guys are with me and you guys are still down, you better believe it. I got so much more that I want to go over. So let's just do that. Let's go over a few more. And these are the more speculative stocks, okay, guys? These are going to be more speculative stocks, but you're going to see why I like them. PDYN, high tight flag. We get a huge push up on volume. It's pulling back. It's a little choppy here, so I want to see this thing kind of get tighter here. So do something like this. okay, and then create a high tight trend base trend breakout right here and head higher on that. So you can keep this one on your watch list. It's a smaller cap stock at 14, I'm sorry, market capitalization 310 million, so mid cap, and its volume, average volume is 14 million a day. So you're getting lots of volume. It's definitely one that you'd want to keep an eye on, creating these new higher lows here, well above all of its moving averages. So keep PDYN on yours. We have JKS. It's definitely one that I found interesting because we see this huge push up. It's starting to curl above its 200-day moving average. This thing could very easily take off here. Just one, when I was going through our list of 400 stocks, I came across this one. I couldn't stop staring at it. So I just wanted to bring it up to you. Definitely not my A-plus trade. We also have FTK. FTK was on my watch list. High tight flag, a big push up on volume, pulling back, holding that 10-day moving average. We also have ANF. Now, guys, I think this is a take tomorrow. I'm not telling you to take it. I'm saying I'm going to be keeping a very close eye in pre-market to see if this thing is holding, see how well it's working. I drew this arrow here a while back to kind of show you like where I wanted to take this. Now, right here on Friday, I almost took this on Friday. I kept a very close eye on it, but I just couldn't do it because I didn't see higher than average volume coming in on this thing. But if we start to get higher volume, start to come in on that 5-minute time frame, I'm definitely going to take a piece of this using this low, this 147 low. So I'll use this $10 as my risk, only taking a few shares, obviously because you know, we're still below a 50-day moving average on the S&P 500. So keep a very close eye on that. WGS. Now that is one that I probably need to add to my leaders list here. I love WGS. I love this tightening range right here. If this thing breaks out of this area, I think it really can get some legs and eggs, baby, and we'll be making that bacon really soon. So make sure you keep WGS on your watch list. Look at this beautiful stock, guys. Look at this big roundy bottom. We even had a base breakout down here. Earnings showed that it was proving itself. It also has been making money. I take that back. They are slowly starting to get out of the hole and starting to make money. This might be a nice push higher here. So keep that on your watch list, WGS. We also have GEO. I'm surprised nobody brought that up in our chat here, guys. What are you guys are sleeping? Yeah, Jolene says ANF watching and watching. Yes, absolutely. Ash, I'll come back, guys. If you guys want to keep putting those tickers in the chat, I'll come back in just a little bit. We'll take a peeky gander at anything I may have missed. But I want to make sure that I get through this watch list because I curated this watch list a while ago. GEO looks absolutely beautiful. Big push up on volume. It's showing that it wants to break out of this basing area. So we're going to watch this $30 area. If it breaks out on volume, we're definitely want to keep a piece of this. And I think, what is GEO? What sector is this? GEO Group engages in the design, financing, development, and supportive services for secure facilities, processing centers, and communication re-entry facilities. Okay, so what is that? Security? Commercial services? Okay. Well, they've already shown proof of concept. If you look at this box down here, you can see annually they're making money. Quarterly, they're making money. There is proof of concept in GEO. So this is definitely what looks to be like a leader in the market. I'd have to do a little bit more digging to see who the actual leader is in this sector. But I like GEO. I think you should keep it on your watch list. Definitely one that I like. Let's take a look at SRRK. SRRK is showing a nice high tight basing pattern, or a high tight flag in this case. We're creating these new higher lows. What do I mean by new higher lows? Here's a low. Here is a new higher low. And here is a new higher low. That is my requirements for the high tight flag or basing breakout pattern. 3 new higher lows, a tightening range, and a clear area of risk. We can take it at 45.75, risking previous low at 44. That's a beautiful $2 risk. And if this thing wants to take off and head higher, we're going to hold on to it, only expending half after between 2 and 5 R. Take out half, then moving our stop up to break even. Absolutely beautiful. We also have SKYT. Let me bring this up for you. SKYT. This is Skywater Technology. What is this? A beautiful high tight flag. We want to see these high tight flags. We want to see them hold. I would like to see a couple more days of contraction here before breaking out and actually heading higher. That would complete our beautiful trend breakout pattern. So make sure you keep that on your watch list. And guys, I have so many more. There are so many things that we can talk about, so many things that we can go over. QURE is another beautiful high basing breakout pattern. If I remember right, this is biotech. It's health technology, not in a hot sector. I just wanted to show you guys that like this is a beautiful pattern. This thing, if it breaks out here, could head much higher. I'm not going to play this because if we've already looked at the sector, XLV, if we look at XLV, you can see the health sector is not doing very well. So when you're looking at something like QURE and we say, okay, well, biotechs aren't doing very well, the health sector's not doing very well, why would I want to take this? You don't. You don't want to take this because your likelihood of it heading lower is very likely, okay? So keep that in mind. Let's see the general chat here. Oh, Predator. Predator reached back out. Thank you, Predator. He said, thanks, man. I'm slowly getting better. At this point, I'm just accepting the downtime. I still had some follow-ups to wrap up. Guys, I just want to take a quick second out to thank each and every one of you for reaching out to our members. We have a few people that were sick. Jolene's had some issues with her family. Predator's been laid up. I know Dan Bob is dealing with some issues with some friends and family as well, asking for his prayer warriors out there. So make sure you keep all of our community in your hearts and in your minds, guys. I absolutely love this community, and I hope for the longevity and the health of this community because, you know, it takes a community. When you're trading, you find out real quick it's lonely. It's hard to have people to bounce ideas off of. That's why we have this community, so we can share and support each other. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you, Predator, for reaching back out. I really hope everything works out for you, and I hope those follow-ups follow through and they're everything that you need. I did have MVST on my watch list as well, guys. So this is definitely one that I found. You guys brought it up in the chat as well, so it's good to see we all kind of caught that one. I also have SRFM, which is Sun Air Mobility, another high tight flag here, one that you might want to keep an eye on. VITL, if you guys remember, we talked about VITL, which is Vital Farms, a long time ago. I know Dan, Bob, and I were talking about this. I couldn't stop looking at this thing. Definitely not a 5-star trade, but this is definitely one that I want to just keep an eye on because if it breaks out of this $40 area, it could definitely continue to head higher. And you know, I got so many other stocks on this watch list, guys. I mean, really, when it comes to my thoughts on the overall market, if the market wants to head higher, we have so many stocks set up to help take it higher. The market wants to go higher because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you want or what our biases are. If the market wants to head higher, it's going to. And right now, with the stocks that are out there, it is primed and set up to go higher. I could easily see Meta and AVGO breaking out tomorrow. I could see NVIDIA after 9 o'clock when they come out with their news on those key points for NVIDIA, it heading higher on something new, you know? I could see App breaking out. I could see Amazon and DEC breaking out, Bros breaking out. There's so many great stocks out there, and I really, really could see everything heading much higher much sooner, okay? Let's catch up on the chat here. It looks like Ashraf says TANH and TKA. So TANH below a 200-day moving average. I'm not going to give this thing too much time a day, but TKO, I'm interested to see because I know B. Stewie has been watching this thing for quite some time. TKO, I believe, is the UFC after they had bought WWE or NWO, the Wrestling Federation. Look at this. It's a high tight flag. Now, this is what I like to see. This is trending higher. It's above all of its moving averages. And look at this, guys. Look at this. It's getting nice and tight here on its 21-day moving average. So this is a beautiful trend. You can see it's a very beautiful trend. It's getting tight here. And if it breaks out on volume, we could see this thing head much higher. Now, I know TKO is a slower mover. If I bring up TKO over here to look at, it only moves 2.6%. In a day. So its average daily range is only 2.6%, meaning if it does break out from this area It's only going to move up 2.6% at the absolute most, which, you know, doesn't make you much money. You know, you're talking $2.50, you know, in a day you're only going to make on this thing. So adjust yourself accordingly. Make sure you're using risk management. But I do like TKO Ash. It's looking good. Let's see here. Dan Bob says, Stewie, I need to voice chat with you in 5 minutes after. I guess I didn't need to read that out, but just so everybody knows, Dan Bob and B Stewie will be talking after this. Sorry, guys. B Stewie says, CXW is a prison stock like GEO. GEO is a prison stock? No way. Commercial service, miscellaneous. Oh, that makes more sense. So when I read it, it says support services for secure facilities. Okay, so I didn't even know that was a prison stock. CXW is also a prison stock. Let's see, CXW, and that's looking really good too. Nice high tight flag, and the V volume contraction pattern is well on it. So CXW is also looking good. Thank you for that, B Stewie, for bringing that up. Prison stocks. Hey, is that a new thing? Is that a hot sector, prison stocks? B Stewie says, no, I like Arch, Jobby, and EVTL. Yeah, those are the, yeah, B Stewie is our guy when it comes to the drone packages. He's been following that forever now, man. I mean, since what, 3-4 years ago, B Stewie, you've been watching all of these? That's crazy. Yosef, I am glad that you brought up SQ. SQ was definitely one that I've been wanting to keep an eye on. Why? Because if we zoom out here, guys, you can see this is a stage 1, and it looks like it's starting a stage 2. So I've been keeping a close eye on it. It does look really, really good here. I would want to see it hold this low. So if you can use $85 as your support, I'm sorry, not just as your support, but as your risk, maybe SQ does this breakout, it's made its pullback, and now maybe, now that it's above all of its moving averages, maybe this is the time. The only issue I have with SQ is it is in the financial services. The financial services aren't doing well. They're below a 50-day moving average. So the sector itself is not hot, but I will say if you're looking at this, it has a nice uptrend. If it holds, I think SQ is a nice stock to be a part of. It's a slower mover, but if you're holding it for a longer term, I think SQ might be a nice piece to get a hold of here. But you need to make sure you're using proper risk, okay? These aren't buy or sell recommendations. These are just my thoughts. I'm just a talking head or a jaw jockey, as I like to say. So keep that in mind. SQ's looking good. Trump rally, Dan Bob says. Trump train? B Stewie says AAOI. Yeah, it is. It does always seem like it's on our scans every single week. It's holding this high tight flag. Not really tight. This high flag. I think it needs more time. Sprinkles, baby. High tight flag. Needs to get tight like this before it breaks out and heads much higher. So you can keep AAOI, but yes, it has been on our watch list quite a bit. The quarterly earnings came out at 65%. So it's actually showing some signs of profitability, or at least in the near future profitability. So we'll see very, very soon if it can continue to head higher. Woo! Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. There was still so much more I wanted to go over tonight, but I think we're going to call it quits. We've been going on for an hour and a half. You know I can talk for 8 hours straight. I've done it plenty of times before. You know what? We'll take a quick vote. Let's take a quick vote. I'm going to end this. We're going to end this poll. Last vote. We need at least 10 of you. At least 10 of you. My question for the poll is, should we scan quickly for the best fundamental stocks out there? All right. If we get 10 of you to say yes on this poll, then we will continue this. If not, we're going to call it a night. We just started the poll. I need 10 of you. There's 19 of you watching. If you want me to keep on going, if you want me to go over through FinViz to show you how to scan for the best stocks that are out there through FinViz, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's super, super easy. If I can get 10 of you to vote, then we are going to do it. So far, we have 86% say yes, 25% say no. It's all up to you. We got 8 votes so far. 8 of you have voted. And we just finished the overall, do you think the S&P 500 will head higher? 57% said yes. 57% said the S&P 500 that we will head up above and continue to hold above this 580. I sure hope that you are right. I really, truly do. We have 11 votes. 82% of you so far have said yes. 18% said no. You don't want to, you can go to bed. I bet it's the old men saying no. Let's go. Let's go. One more. One more. All right. Who am I kidding? We're doing it. We're ending the poll. Let's do this, guys. Let me bring up FinViz. We're going to make this super, super easy for you guys. Let me just rip my microphone out of my face really quick. We're going to do this. I'm excited to do this. I'm glad you guys voted yes. All right. All right, here we go. Excuse me. This is FinViz. We're going to make this super easy because fundamentals can be extremely, extremely intimidating. I know when I first started the fundamentals, I just kept asking people, I would say, can I just look at technicals? Do I have to understand fundamentals? Because I feel like you have to be some smart whiz. I can make this super, super easy for you so you can feel like a smart whiz without being the smart whiz, okay? We're at FinViz. So you go to finviz.com and you get this thing that pops up, okay? Very, very simple. We're going to click on screeners right here. When you click on screeners, it's going to bring you this chart up. You have descriptive, fundamental, technical, news, ETF, and all. We're going to go through this and we're going to make this super, super easy for you guys, okay? I'm going to click on fundamentals and then we're going to look at this. This is earnings per share growth over the next 5 years, sales growth the past 5 years, EPS quarter over quarter, and sales growth quarter over quarter. So we're going to start with the quarter over quarter. We need it above 25%. So over 25%. That simple. Click on that. Boom. Let me go back because I want to show you guys this. If we do any, we have almost 10,000 stocks. Right here you can see ticker total 9,814. The second we click on the quarter over quarter, over 25%. That means it's growing. The earnings per share growth quarter over quarter is 25. And then it changes from over 9,800 to 2,160. By a click of a button, we have reduced the confusion and the noise by one click of a button. And that click of the button is simply the EPS growth. It's so simple, guys. If it's expecting to grow 25%, then you know you're getting into a better stock. Let's do the same thing for sales growth quarter over quarter. We want it to be over 25% to help meet those CAN SLIM criteria. Boom! Now we're down to 458 stocks. How do we get this even better? We can do EPS growth the past 5 years. I don't think we need to focus in the past. EPS growth over the next year. Let's do that over 25%. Okay. Now we're down to 182 stocks. Stick with me. This is super, super easy. B-Stewie says, great info here, folks. Thank you, B-Stewie. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Super simple. We're making trading easy here. Very, very easy. Now that we're down to 102 stocks, let's go ahead and see what we can do to help reduce this even more. So we don't want to look at the past. We rather look at the future. Let's go click on descriptive here and let's make sure our price is anything over $1. We don't want to be in anything less than $1. That reduces another 10 stocks. So now we're down to 173 stocks. This is super, super easy to do. Let's see what else we can do. Let's do current volume. Let's do, let's see, average volume. We want this to be over 1 million. Why? Because that means we're in liquid stocks. That means anytime you get in or out, there's going to be enough shares out there where you're not going to get screwed over by $1 or even 10 cents. These stocks that are trading on an average over 1 million shares a day, you're better off to be in these liquid stocks because more people are watching and you can get in and out very easily. I don't know if you've ever done this before. If you haven't been trading for very long. But if you ever clicked, buy market, and then all of a sudden you're down 30 bucks, that's because you're not in a liquid stock. You should be able to click buy market and get within a penny or 3 pennies. I don't suggest using buy market. I always use buy limit or limit orders. But when you click the limit order, you are at least going to get filled, right? As to where if you click buy limit on something that shares less than 1 million average per day, then you are not likely to get filled, right? You're not likely to get filled on those limit buys. So now we're down to 83 stocks, and we could go even further into this by clicking on technicals, and we could say 200-day simple moving average. We want the price to be above the 200-day moving average, which brings us down to 49 stocks now. And then we can also use a 50-day moving average, 50-day simple moving average, and we want the price to be above the 50-day moving average. Price, let me just find it here. There we go, above. Now we're down to 7 stocks, okay? And I think you guys are gonna be not so surprised at what these stocks are. And here's the beautiful thing about FinViz. After we've punched all this in, and we're gonna go over it one more time descriptively, we're over 1 million shares a day. We're over $1. Fundamentally, we're EPS growth over 25%, EPS growth for the next year, 25%, and sales growth quarter over quarter over 25%. And technically, the technical analysis, we're above a 200-day moving average, we're above a 50-day moving average. We're down to 7 stocks. Now here's the really cool thing about FinViz. We can click on chart right here and look at this, bam. Now we can look at the 7 stocks that I just showed for you, okay? We have 7 stocks here. Which ones are we finding? Well, look at this beautiful stock, AIoT. We just talked about AIoT. AIoT has been brought up by B. Stewie. He says, you know, this is always on our tick. Was it AIoT? I don't think it was AIoT that we just looked at. I'm sorry. But AIoT, this is fundamentally sound. Things are looking really good. It's a growth leader fundamentally. This is what it looks like when you look at this thing on TradingView, which, by the way, if you guys want TradingView, click the link in the description down below. You can download TradingView. It's absolutely free. If you end up buying the essential plan within the first month, I get a nice little kickback. It's a nice little way that I can make some money off of that. But regardless, AIoT fundamentally, quarter over quarter looks good, and annually looks like they're still trying to make some money. It looks like they may have made some investments last year, but quarter over quarter, this thing looks like it's an absolute doozy. So AIoT looks very, very nice. So when we look at these stocks, we see SoFi, APLD, NVIDIA, Toast, FTAI, AGI. These are all stocks when you want to look at something fundamentally and also technically where your ideas can line up. These are the stocks that you're going to want to keep an eye on. Now, are these a buy? Like you need to buy Toast now? No. This doesn't mean that these stocks aren't overpriced, that they've already been priced in and now they're waiting to see if what its ideas line up. That's why fundamentally you don't just buy on fundamentals. You buy on technicals being backed by fundamentals and news and catalysts and sectors and themes, okay? So this is just another way to help advance your trading, to help your understanding of fundamentals, to help understanding the technicals and how to use a simple free screener through FinViz. So I really hope you guys like that. I really hope you enjoyed that. And if you haven't already, you can click on my link tree. We have a YouTube right here, our Discord. Here's the TradingView link that I was telling you about, our Instagram, TikTok, and of course, our Facebook. Guys, if you are not a part of our swing trading strategies and you are sick of spam, if you're sick of scammers, we don't have any of that. We keep a very close eye on who we let in, what we are allowed to say, not what we're allowed to say, freedom of speech, but who gets to say what, because we don't want anybody out there scamming our community. So absolutely beautiful. Dan, Bob, and Jolene do an amazing job at moderating this. They do awesome job. Right here, here's our watch list. This is what you're watching right now. If you scroll down, look at Sector Tracker. He always posts where the money flowed the previous week so we can see what is going. We also have awesome things like weekly ticker scan. We give you a scanner to add to your TradingView so you can come up with these tickers yourself. We also have Whisker Buffett right here. Our good friend Whisker Buffett, a weekly fun facts about the January effect. And then, of course, my favorite post, Just a Girl Trying to Learn. Jolene has her insights on what she goes through on a weekly, sometimes monthly basis, and gives you a little insight on what she's doing to learn, what she's trying to do to have better goals for 2025. It's absolutely amazing, and it's so inspiring to see her doing this. And really, I think it's one of the most popular posts on our Swing Trader Strategies. So if you guys want to be a part of that, go to Swing Trader Strategies. Make sure you apply to be a part of this. We are growing so stinking fast. I think this thing's been open for 3 months. We're up to 375 members. Congratulations to all of you for finding us, because honestly, I've been a part of a lot of Facebooks and not one is like this. Thanks to Dan Bob and our sweet Jolene. Yosef says he likes toast. I like toast with butter too, brother. Let's take a look at toast really quick, and then we're going to say our goodbyes. So here's TOST. Toast has been out there for a while. This is what you want to see in a chart. Look at this. Gradual growth quarter over quarter and gradual growth annually. That's absolutely beautiful. If this thing sets up a trend or a base breakout, which it looks like a trend is forming, this might be something that you want to keep a close eye on. Slower mover, but a beautiful mover in itself. My name is David Worrell. I hope you guys had an awesome time tonight. If you did, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, share it with your mama, share it with your friends. We got a lot going on. I've reached out to so many different people about interviews, and we got alpha charts coming very, very soon. We have Dan, the charting man, Dan. If you guys aren't aware of him, he's where I learned my new higher lows, new lower highs from. We have so many amazing things going on. I hope you guys are excited. I sure as hell am. And I hope you guys just love what's going on here. Sandra McDonald said, thank you so much. I learned quite a bit this evening. I tell you what, I did too. I am glad that we got through this. And guys, if you don't know, after the outro, if you have one time said anything in the comments, I'm going to give you a shout out right at the end of the show. So make sure you stick all the way into the end. Make sure you smash that love button. I see you guys doing it already. You know what it is. We'll see you guys on, actually, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. for the NVIDIA keynotes. See you guys. Love you. Thank you. I swear, one of these times, I'm going to get a hold of my cat, and she's going to have to do a stream with me. Jimmy Bright, good night. I appreciate you, Jimmy, and cheers, brother. Jolene, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you could make it. Maybe we should just do these shows a little longer, just so we can see sweet Jolene come on here. B. Stewie, thank you so much for being here, man. My number one. My dude, Yosef, thank you so much for being here. Take care. Oh, Saeed, I just seen you popped in. Saeed, Smaeed. It's good to see you, brother. Thank you so much for saying great information. I appreciate that. Dan, Bob, Dob, Dan, as always, thank you so much. Zamora, thank you so much for stopping in. As always, you are so dedicated to this channel, and I just appreciate you guys. So thank you so much, man. I hope to see you more often in here, and thank you for bringing some friends with you. I can't ask for anything more. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being here, dude. Love the support. Absolutely love the support. Let's see who else we got here. Nadayo swung in today. He stopped in to say hello. Ashraf Sohal. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Let's see who else we had. Global Defense News. Global Defense News. Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you. Sandra McDaniel. Thank you so much for your continued support with this channel. Let's see who else was in here. I don't want to miss anybody. This is my favorite part, honestly. Just seeing all the support, scrolling through here. Erica K was here as well. Thank you guys so much for being here, supporting the channel. Nothing but love. I see you guys. I'm sending it right back. Nothing but love. Oh, and Robert Tainch. That's right. I almost forgot Robert. He snuck in here. We do miss you, Robert. Thank you for stopping in, as always, and saying hi. And remember, guys, we have a new mentorship program. It's not expensive at all. Only $100 for an hour of my time. If you want some one-on-one, of course, everything I offer is free. But if you want, I've had quite a few people reaching out lately for that one-on-one time. I'm more than happy to do it for you. $100, I promise it can change your life. And if not, you just want to hang out, we can do that too. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you. And thanks for everybody out there pushing me to help monetize this content. Thank you guys so much. You know how I feel about it. I'm a little weird about it, but I appreciate you guys pushing me to do it, because that is the next step. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for all your support. I love you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Peace.